Bleeding Purple Podcast. Deep block, steps up in the pocket. He'll fire to the right side. Caught by Diggs. Stay alive. Oh my God. 30, no tag. Are you kidding me? The finish in the Minneapolis. No way. Stephon Diggs in the middle of the Vikings. On the New Orleans Saints. It's a 61-yard Minneapolis miracle. I couldn't believe what I just saw. What an unbelievable play.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in to Bleeding Purple, a podcast about the Minnesota Vikings. My name is Tyler Haig. I'm joined, as always, by Mr. Adam Patrick. Hello.
What's up?
You know, I've been meaning to say, Adam Patrick, you are the editor at thevikingage.com, and I am writing and editing at sportingsoda.com. I never say that. I never introduce that. I hardly ever mention it. So right at the top, there you go. That's what
What we do?
Yeah, that's what we do. Big news today. Well, first, yay spring drills, I guess. I don't know. They don't really do anything right now, but there is activity at
weightlifting.
at the Vikings headquarters, which
in
is
the
not
building.
Winter Park anymore, and I don't want to call it the TCO Performance Center because that's too long. So
Egan?
we'll come up. Yeah, they're in Egan. We'll come up with something clever that isn't Egan or
They don't really
TCO
have a-
Performance.
They don't have like a special nickname.
No, like a sweet name. Yeah, nothing. I don't know. Winter Park 2.0. That's too long too. But I don't know.
Fancyland.
Yeah, Fancyland is a great idea. Holy smokes, you might have nailed it.
Two fireplaces in the locker room.
And just a ton,
practice and stuff.
dude, a ton of angry neighbors because their lights
so
are
bright.
on all the time.
Oh, man.
Too bright. So, I mean, it's tough to be, a beacon, both literally and figuratively, the way
They
the
do have
Vikings
these
are.
things called blackout curtains.
That's what I was like. They should just send them with big Vikings logos,
Yeah.
like the big Vikings. Like, here you go. It'll be better this way.
Instead of being like, oh, this is cool, the Vikings are right there. They're like, nah.
Well, and the way it was framed, the way I was reading it was, it's not even people in Egan; it's people across the street in whatever.
Doesn't even affect.
Yeah, well, or in whatever town they are in. So they are not even Eganites or whatever Egan folk call themselves. But
People who actually live there are like, it's pretty cool.
yeah, this is awesome. Do you see how great this thing is? It's huge. So, big news out of that facility.
Yeah.
Mr. Eric Kendricks has been signed, re-signed, extended, if you will. 5 years, $50 million, but the real $25 million guaranteed.
Yeah. Don't know if it's fully guaranteed, but I think the signing bonus was reported like $10.5 million.
Okay.
So, and then the rest is probably guaranteed with injury and stuff like that. But the full terms haven't come out yet, but they've been laid out. I think Pro Football Talk had a source about the numbers, and then it looks like the cap hit will be below $11 million until like 2021, I believe. So it's a pretty good deal.
I've been hearing a lot of people talking about how this extension came before some of the other players who will need to be extended. Do you think that says anything about how they feel about certain players, or is it because Eric Kendricks he was a second-round pick, was he not?
Yep.
So therefore, that fifth year, that the majority doesn't happen for him. So he was going to be due this year. He and Barr, I guess, are up the same year, basically, right?
Yeah. Well, Diggs and Danielle Hunter, they're both free agents next year too.
Yeah.
They only have 1 year right now on their deal. And Trey Waynes they haven't picked up his fifth-year option, so right now his contract would end next year. But they'll probably pick it up because they can always take it away before his salary guarantees next year or whatever. But yeah, I guess Barr is. I think Ian Rappaport, I just saw that he says Barr is likely to be the next one to get an extension. And for Kendricks being first, I think they probably saw like, hey, we can save a lot of money by signing him right now. Like, let's just do it now and avoid anyone else getting paid more, and then we have to pay him more. So.
And it feels like the Vikings have done a good job of that over the last several years, because the worst thing that's going to happen is those players are going to outplay those contracts, and then you're just, going to have to basically do the same thing, but, with more leverage from the team angle.
Adam Thielen, where he signed last year, 2 years ago, or last year, 4 years, like $26 million.
And he next year is going to be outrageously underpaid.
If he was a free agent this year, he would probably got close to what Jarvis Landry just got. So.
Those wide receivers numbers, they're insane. How much money some of those guys. Sammy Watkins too, who's been injured, got what did he get? 16, 14 million?
I think the yearly average is around 14. Same thing with Allen Robinson, with Jarvis Landry. Odell Beckham's definitely going to get more than that whenever he gets a new deal.
What do you think Dez Bryant, recently released Dez Bryant, will get? Well, and I guess let's start on the Dez Bryant thing before the money. Possible fit for the Vikings? Absolutely not. Right?
No.
Absolutely not.
Especially when he's not anything close to what he used to be. It's not like he can just he's not like a possession kind of receiver anyways. He always was able to make a big play. He's a big play kind of receiver. It's not like a make moves kind of thing.
And his big plays are kind of not so much there, right?
Wasn't
anymore?
Even I don't think he wasn't the best receiver on the Cowboys last year anyways, or maybe in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
But I think he might be able to get 6 or 7 million somewhere. Probably like a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Lots of incentives, chance to make more, just because he's a veteran and he knows the league and stuff. So somebody will give him something. I think the Packers have been rumored to be interested in him.
That was going to be my next question.
Fine.
Scale of 1 to 5, how scared of that are you?
Not scared. I'd actually probably be happy, because if something went wrong with that team, he'd be like,
This is why we do the podcast. That's exactly what I thought. I was like, yes, please sign him. And then in 6 weeks, when you guys are flipping out on one another, and he's having one of his
this is exactly why I don't think they will sign him.
One of his patented meltdowns on the sideline.
Him, the Ravens, the Giants, I've heard. Some other teams.
And he has also expressed interest in staying in the NFC East, correct?
Yeah, but I guess not a lot of teams are really interested in that. So I mean, they've seen him the most, so they know that
exactly
he's good or bad.
Never a good sign when the teams in your
could go to the Redskins. Who knows? They like throwing money at old guys. So yeah, he's not coming to Minnesota. Anyone hoping for that? That's not going to happen.
I just don't understand how people could have a problem with the Cousins signing money-wise and then want to bring in Dez Bryant for whatever. Just bring him on. It's like it's insane to me.
It's second nature now for someone to get released and then be like, oh, the Vikings should sign him. Be like, it could be a punter. Well, it was a punter.
It was a punter. This happened.
Yeah, Marquette King. And speaking of, did you see what Cordell Patterson said about him?
No.
About how no one really liked him, and he was a diva in the Raiders locker room. I'm like, oh, Cordell Patterson calling someone a diva. How
wonderful.
Convenient.
Nom, 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 nom. Oh, that's delicious.
So, yeah.
Dude, as the days pass, the more interested I become in the Raiders debacle with Gruden and just what is going on there. And now that I've said that, I'm sure they'll win a ton of games and go to the playoffs and look awesome. Yeah. But boy, oh boy, does this look...
Who's their running back? Doug Martin?
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch?
Yeah. They're all old. They're all so old. It's so weird. It's such a weird... I expected John Gruden to come back and, like...
Get a new haircut?
Well, that too. No. I knew his hair was going to stay the same. I knew that. I thought he was going to come back and just like totally change football. Be like, well, I've been watching it for a number of years, and here's what I would do. And then he was just Super Bowl after Super Bowl. He'd be
No, and now he's just like,
Amazing.
well, this is how I used to do it.
Yeah,
So it still works.
That's
It still
exactly
works.
what he's doing. It's like, no, I actually have this system that I've stuck to this whole time. It's like, yeah, dude, that's why you got fired. That's why you guys didn't win any games at the end.
Dez Bryant not coming to Minnesota. Period.
End of story. Other news, Nick Easton
Yeah.
has agreed to... Well, he's different because he was a restricted free agent. Yeah, so they tendered him.
His second round tender he signed. I think it's $2.9 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad.
2.914 to be exact. But,
Oh.
I mean, it's not like anybody's writing it down on a notebook or anything.
Who uses notebook?
I do. It's so sad. I think that I could just write this on my phone. It's like, nope, here it is, pen and paper. Just feels better. Feels more organic.
Oh yeah. You still read the newspaper too?
You know, I actually, funny you say
but-
that. Last weekend, I looked into, because I was like, I do read the paper. There's a paper at the warehouse that I work, and so I flip through it and I like it. And I also like reading, sports writers, and I have some good ones at the Star Tribune. So I was like, it would be really cool to get a Sunday newspaper every week. I wonder how expensive that is. And I looked into it, and turns out that's why newspapers are going away, because it was outrageous how much money they wanted. It was like there are a bunch of different options, which I also thought was very interesting. One of the options was just the paper on Sunday, and that was obviously the cheapest.
Biggest issue.
Yeah, that made sense. It was more expensive than I was hoping for a Spotify Netflix kind of a per month. Yeah, no, and it was way more than that. I honestly don't even... It was so much more than that I was just like, nope, and totally ignored the,
Well, you can't even...
information gone.
You can't even go on the Star Tribune's website without... You can't read any of their articles.
No, that's what I was going to say, was because then those were the options. So one of the options was a monthly read our stuff online. For a monthly, and I was like, why would I ever do that?
Because you can read it all everywhere else.
Because you can read it all everywhere else. And if I was looking to pay for that kind of thing, I would go get The Athletic and be able to point at exactly what I wanted instead of whatever you decided to give me.
I understand there's certain writers, people like to read them, but at the end of the day, everyone's pretty much writing about the same stuff. Yeah. And you can go and get that for free.
Yeah, exactly. Anywhere. And then on top of that, it's like there are so many different steps where you have to rely on, like this weekend when it snows 18 inches in April. Is the Star Tribune going to get there on that day? I don't know. That's other people involved, Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And not that I don't mean to say that the Star Tribune is bad at delivering on time. I don't know. I don't have a subscription, but that's an extra step.
Yeah.
Or I could just read it on the internet. One step. But anyways, that's my little rant about the paper. Prices are too high, guys.
We started this by talking about Nick Easton. So.
Yeah, that's right. Nick Easton. So, yeah. How do you feel about the depth on the offensive line at this point?
1 year. I think it's good that they brought him back for another year. If anything, it gives them continuity on their starting offensive line, and then it also allows them to have time to groom someone into taking his spot next year.
Do you expect him to be a starter at the beginning of the season?
I would think so, yeah. I mean, he'll probably have some competition in the summertime, but I do think he'll be the starter.
Yeah, wouldn't be shocking if he wasn't, but...
Depending on who they draft. Because if they draft someone like Will Hernandez or Isaiah Wynn, or there's a couple other people out there that they could get who could probably start right away and compete with Easton. So depending on who they draft, I would think that he would be the starter. But yeah, it's only there for a year, so it allows them to draft someone maybe later than the first round and groom them into his replacement next year. So it's good. It's fine. It's necessary. They didn't really have a ton of options.
Yeah, so. I was gonna say of the remaining options, he's got to be high on your list, right?
He wasn't god awful last year. was pretty. They were pretty good when he was in there.
Yeah.
I think was a big part of their screen game when they were doing
I
that
remember
stuff.
genuine concern when he was hurt.
Yeah, that was probably a big part of why they looked like garbage against the Eagles, because they couldn't do a lot of the stuff that they did when he was in there.
Yeah.
Same thing with Elfline. Elfline wasn't 100%. That's good.
Yeah.
Sure.
Good to have. You expect them to draft
Solid.
high,
Solid.
first or second round, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I guess speaking of the draft, it's coming up.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about it a little bit, or should we just? I mean, obviously, is it next Thursday?
28?
Yeah.
28.
So the next episode is going to be our very draft heavy
Preview. Yeah, we'll do some preview stuff.
Yeah.
Talk prospects.
For now, do you have a top 5 worst draft pick of all time list? Have you compiled?
Vikings?
Yeah, for the Vikings. Have you compiled a list?
Dude, what, since 99?
Well, yeah.
Because I can't really be like, this guy from 1970.
Yeah, exactly.
He turned out horrible.
Yeah, I didn't recognize his name, so he must have been real bad.
When I did write something about like draft. I did the greatest 7-round draft for the Vikings ever, and I had to go back to like their very first draft, because that's when Fran Tarkenton was selected in 1961, and then I think there were 20 rounds in that draft. They also only had 14 teams, but
could you imagine if they still did 20 rounds?
Oh my God.
Oh man, the mock drafts would be unbearable at 20 rounds.
I think the people doing the mock drafts would hate them.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, and at 20 rounds,
just finished round 19.
Yeah.
Is there anyone left?
Anyone. Well, isn't that, and that's like the baseball draft too, where you wind up taking, it's like, oh, that is our second round pick's younger brother, who we also drafted because it's the 19th round.
We drafted Russell Wilson in the 44th round.
Yeah, because he was drafted in baseball in the. Yeah.
And, who else? John Elway was drafted. He was drafted pretty high, actually.
Yeah. He was going to be. In that 30 for 30 documentary, the Yankees were all over it. They were going to have him. Yeah, that was
his leverage.
Yeah.
Worked out. Jameis Winston was drafted, I believe. There's a bunch of quarterbacks.
I know. Yeah, and baseball can be goofy like that, where they will just draft dudes as like a, come on, man, do you want to take a shot here? Because there's so many rounds that you can afford to. I don't want to say waste a pick, but.
And for tickets, too.
Yeah, use a pick like that.
It's got to be spring training.
Dave Winfield. He was drafted in all of the 4 sports. Or no, 3, because I don't think he was a hockey guy. That would have been amazing if Dave Winfield would have been a hockey guy.
Today, where someone was drafted in the NBA and the NFL, but opted to go to the NBA. And I think it was Jalen Rose's dad.
Really?
Jimmy Walker.
Did Julius Peppers get drafted in basketball? Because he was a really good basketball player, too.
So I think basketball's too, there's not enough rounds. I think
because there is only the 2 in the,
2 rounds. They might have had 3 back then, but there's only 2 now. That seems weird to me, too. There are only 2 rounds for the NBA.
Well, I suppose, though, when your roster is 10, 15 players... Or what would it? Yeah, it's like 15, 17, 18 roster spots, something like that. I don't know, man.
But you say the same thing for baseball. They only have 9 players on the field at once.
Well, 9 players on the field at once, but their active roster is.
They need 70 pitchers.
Yeah, and so it is. What is their? God, I should know this.
25, 26.
I think it's a 25-man active roster, but they do expand it to a 40-man roster in like the playoffs and early on in spring training and stuff. So there are times where you have 40 dudes able to play, which is outrageous to think about that. Yeah, that's just. Anyways, worst Vikings draft picks. I stuck to mainly first round, and I have my one weird bad pick is.
Well, yeah, I don't think
goofy,
we should be like. This guy in the 7th round was horrible. That's because he's in the 7th round.
There are podcasts that do that.
Yeah.
Or would do that, I guess.
But yeah, I think it should be mostly first round. There's one guy that was drafted pretty late that could still be a worst pick of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I think people know who that's going to be.
I think I know who it's going to be. Do you want to go first? Should we alternate? What do you think? How do you
Yeah,
want to
we
do
can
this? Production meeting. Okay. Number 5. Who do you got? You go first.
Matt Khalil. Just because of where he was drafted and how it panned out. Thought it was going to be good after the first year.
I was just going to say, I feel like he gets a ton of passes because of how well he played that first year, but overall, he was not.
Yeah, after that, he was really bad. Pass protection. Maybe he was good in the run game. And then he couldn't stay healthy, and a lot of bitching and complaining.
Tons of that.
Throwing people's hats in their faces, opening pizza places and stuff like that, serving underage kids.
That rhymed. That was incredible. Hats and faces, pizza places. You got a song just like happening. Right?
Yeah, so I'll go with Matt Khalil just because of where he was drafted. He is top 3 pick.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think the Vikings or anyone thought they would pick anyone else, but still, that's didn't turn out well. So
yeah, that's such a because you draft an offensive lineman that high up, expecting like 10 years of production, right? Isn't that like the plan? Not so much with that dude.
No.
My number 5, controversial perhaps, Laquan Treadwell.
Oh, I thought about that.
I just I'm done with the hoping. Or no, I shouldn't say that because I do hope that he is successful next year. I think it was a reach, and I think he's not been good at all. And it's time to after a couple of years, it's like I want him to see the field. I want him to be productive. He has not done that, and if he doesn't do it again this year, he will be.
Have you ever seen his injury in college? The video?
No, God, absolutely not.
Fracturing his ankle?
No. I hate those videos. I will not be watching that.
It's pretty bad. It's like a Gordon Hayward kind of thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
I'm not interested.
After I saw that, I was like, "Oh, he came back from that. That's pretty good." But he clearly lost a lot of. I feel
was that at the end of his senior? When was that? When did that happen? How did I not know about this?
In the middle of college.
Okay, so you did play full season.
A year or two before he left. Yeah.
Okay. Gross.
But yeah,
I hate those. I still have not seen E.J. Henderson.
I think it was against Alabama, and. It was a horse collar tackle.
Oh, no.
So got caught. Yeah.
I'm so glad they did away with those horse
collar. It was a dirty play.
Yuck.
So Treadwell.
Yep, that's where it went.
All right, that's fine.
I'm just telling it like it is, man.
Number 4, I'm going to have to go with Chris Cook.
That's a good pick, too.
He was drafted in the 2nd round, but he was not good.
And maybe it's not his fault, but he played so much for a stretch there and was just never good. He's never good.
We thought he was good. We're like, oh, it's a 3rd year. He'll be good. I think, what was that running joke where, he never had an interception the whole time he was here?
God, is that true?
Never had an interception until he left. Because the joke was always like, I had the same amount of interceptions as Chris Cook.
Oh, that's really bad.
He had the domestic. I think he had a domestic violence case too, where he was involved in. So that was good.
Oh yeah, that was a really bad one too. The Chris Cook one, wasn't it? His domestic case was.
They're all bad.
But well, yeah, they are. But this one was especially bad. That's a great point. Yeah, great point.
That's definitely not a pissing contest.
No, it's not.
Well, mine's worse.
What number are we on? Number 4. My number 4. I'm gonna go with Mobo.
Ooh, number 4. Okay.
I think I stole your sneaky pick. I'm sorry. Or are you gonna?
It's not sneaky. I mean, it's not hard to guess.
Yeah, because it wasn't like the first, a high. He wasn't a high pick, but
6th round, I think.
It's terrible. It was a waste. Shouldn't have done it.
Dude was throwing up after the Vikings first rookie minicamp. like throwing up in practice because he's never ran that hard or worked that hard. But he was worth a draft pick.
He looked great in those highlight videos where he was playing.
Yeah, where he's playing against
16-year-olds.
It's like when they have those mascot games against like the Pee Wee.
Yeah,
football.
yes, it was. Oh, that's exactly what it looked like. Yeah, and then they fall into each other and he just speeds past
They're
everybody.
like, oh, we should draft a mascot because he's destroyed one of those kids.
Did you see how good Goldie the Gopher looked at halftime? Like, sign him
Oh,
up.
I think I saw those highlights. Yeah, where he just like jacks some kid up.
Oh man, and how do you? Yeah, whatever.
People are like, that's not funny. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty funny.
It's pretty funny. Do you think Mobo gets? A, it wasn't his fault that he got drafted, but B, I don't think it's his fault that there was so much hype. How did he get that much hype from? Like, people were legit excited. Legit.
Just they looked at
the highlight,
the measurables. That's what usually gets people in the draft. Josh Allen, where you're like, oh, he can run. He's like this big, and he can run like 4.40. He's like the white Calvin Johnson. Like, he's gonna be great.
And then he's throwing up at minicamp.
Like, I don't know. He never got an opportunity in the preseason. I would like to see him like play more than a series because that's all I feel like he got. Like,
Yeah.
Put him in there for a quarter, see what he can do, make some plays, but he never got that chance.
Yeah.
So it could. I don't know. He could have been good, but clearly the Vikings knew that wasn't going to happen, and I'm sure Mike Zimmer was ecstatic to use a draft pick on him.
Yeah, I bet he loved that. Loved it. Who you got for number 3?
Number 3. Ooh, it's a tough one. Troy Williamson. Supposed to be the guy to replace Randy Moss. And that's hilarious. It was never going to happen.
Well, and he...
And like a 4-3, and they're like, ooh, he'll be the deep threat. Except that to be a deep threat, you have to catch the ball.
Catch the ball. That was like...
problem.
That was the only thing he could do. Was
he ever had,
run fast.
He never had more than like 450 receiving yards in a year. Which is kind of embarrassing because I think Adam Thielens had half of that in a game before.
Mm-hmm. I can only replay the one off the face mask wide open.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think against the
my.
Broncos, where he was like, it was like right there. Ba-bow, bow. Like a Jose Canseco ball on the head kind of.
Yeah. Well, and to say who was the first person that said Randy Moss? This guy's going to who did?
Well, I think they traded it. They traded him, and they drafted a receiver in the first round, so that's automatically what you think.
Yeah, I suppose
This is going to be the guy to replace him, but
he was never.
Nate Burleson was a better pick than he was.
He should never. Yeah. Why did they make him a first-round pick? Was it just speed? He was just that fast. They were like, well, we need a guy that can do that. That was really all Randy Moss was doing for us. So,
yeah, speed. I'm surprised he wasn't drafted by the Raiders, but
man, that was a really bad pick.
There are a lot of receivers that were drafted during that time period that were drafted based pretty much on speed and just never did anything.
My number 3 is Erasmus James.
Also drafted that same year with Williamson. 2 first-round picks. 2 duds.
Phenomenal. Great year for the Vikes that year.
Pre-Spielman.
Yeah. Was Spielman, he was not involved at all, or was that still the triangle of
I believe
ridiculousness?
07 or 09 he came aboard between there. He didn't become GM until 2012.
Okay. God, that was only 2012?
Yep. Wasn't that long ago.
Man, it feels like so much longer ago. He's done a pretty good job, I'd say.
Yeah, his first two, so he wasn't even the general manager when they picked Christian Ponder, so you can't put that on him.
Well, he was involved in the process, though, at that point. So
I mean, the owners were also, at that point, they were involved in the process, too, so they could have been like, oh, let's get a quarterback.
Yeah, and, I wonder how often GMs, head coaches have to take the brunt of blame for decisions that are essentially being forced on them by the guys that are signing their checks.
I'll ask every former GM of the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
It's just every year.
That would be the worst. To get hired to do a job regarding football and then get told by the guy who doesn't know anything football-wise, or, who's not made any of...
Be like the Cowboys and just have your owner be the GM.
No, didn't they relieve him of his GM duties after a couple of horrific drafts?
No, I think he's still technically the GM, but his son is like assistant.
He is like the player personnel guy.
He makes most of the decisions now. Jerry still has input, but not as much as he used to because he had some pretty bad picks.
Yeah, some really bad picks.
Yeah.
Jerry, I'm so glad he doesn't own the team that I root for, because that would get irritating. Who do you have for number 2?
Number 2, I'm gonna go Demetrius Underwood. Former defensive end of the Vikings, although he never played in a game. I believe he didn't make it to training camp.
No, and I have this story pulled up because it's so incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating for younger Vikings fans who aren't too familiar with it.
Yeah, so he gets signed. He's a first round pick. Gets his signing bonus, which was...
drafted, right?
Say it again.
99 he was drafted, right?
Yep, 99.
Culpepper.
29th overall. Signed 5-year, $5.3 million contract with a $1.7 million bonus, signing bonus, and walked out of the first day of training camp and never returned. Had to give back the money, $1.75 million, because he couldn't decide if he wanted to play football or serve his Christian faith, which later kind of revealed itself to just be not so much Christian faith, but just crazy. He was bipolar, diagnosed with bipolar disorder later on in 99. This is after he had, I believe, attempted suicide. He was caught in Miami not taking notes about football during team meetings, but instead writing about the apocalypse.
He played for the Dolphins, and I think he played for the Cowboys, too.
Yep, and that was the Cowboys took a chance on him after that because of the success the team had with Alonzo Spellman, who also suffered from bipolar disorder. So they thought they could fix him because they had a bipolar. We had one of those already.
Because everyone who has bipolar is the same.
The same.
Every case.
Oh, no, we know how to cure that. We've had one of those already.
It's just like a cold.
Bipolar? Oh, yeah. We had the chicken pox once, too. They're similar. Yeah. We'll be able to
just put him in a bath of tomato sauce. That'll be good.
That's what we did with Alonzo. Cured him.
Coincidence we were talking about Jerry Jones 2 minutes ago.
Oh man, that Demetrius Underwood is just an unbelievable story.
Hope he's doing well today.
I do too. Yeah. What was the last thing? He was incarcerated for a minute there. Yeah, 2007.
For what?
It doesn't say. It just says that in 2007, Underwood entered the Philadelphia Industrial Correctional Center and left.
Philadelphia.
Yeah. Shocking. And left in February of 2011. Because if you're, bat bleep crazy, where's the best place to go to fit in?
Yeah. Don't go to Starbucks.
Oh. You can go to Starbucks. You just have to make sure you buy a drink. Otherwise, though.
And you have to make sure somebody else too.
Exactly. That's a separate podcast. Yeah, man. This Demetrius Underwood is just... absolutely incredible. Unbelievable. So that's a good number 2. My number 2, did I say Troy Williamson at 3? Maybe Demetrius, no. Did I say Williamson yet? Troy Williamson is my number 2.
2?
Yeah.
You said Treadwell, Erasmus, James.
Mm-hmm. Williamson's number 2. Number 1 is Demetrius Underwood. But little... okay, you give your number 1 first.
Oh, it's Mobo.
Mobo.
Just
Number
so stupid. Like, it was clearly a publicity stunt. Like, oh, he's the first German-born player to be drafted.
You gave the worst pick ever that the Vikings have ever had.
It is. It was a waste.
It was a total waste.
Like, I understand it's a 6th-round pick,
yeah,
but
that would be the only way you could argue.
There was no
there's
way
a
he was-
definite argument to be made for it being the worst.
there's no way he was making the team.
Yeah. Or maybe they went in thinking that maybe there was a small chance, but then after the first day, you would have to be like, oh, okay, this is...
That's like thinking like,
horrible
well, maybe our punter could be our backup quarterback because he has arms.
Because he has arms.
There's a chance.
I mean, there is a chance. It's more than 0% chance.
Yeah. It's just such a bad pick.
It was a bad pick. And then that was one of the... I don't want to say one of the first times, but one of the most glaring... I disagreed so wholeheartedly with the enthusiasm that whole thing was bringing, and the videos on the... Oh, man. It was just...
I didn't mind, but I can tell Zimmer getting pissed. Like,
being
how's Mobo doing? He's all right. And the conspiracy theorists out there will probably say that the NFL asked the Vikings to take him as a favor for getting them a new stadium and the Super Bowl in that new stadium. So
That sounds plausible.
it does, but
Not that I'm a big conspiracy theory guy.
no.
But I could see where that happened. Real quick, my gold medal worst draft pick of all time is Herschel Walker. Because although the Vikings did not draft him, they gave away their picks in 89, 90, 91, and 92.
So that draft is your
To
worst.
get him. Yeah, that entire thing.
Because they didn't have it.
Because they didn't
They
have
traded away all their picks?
Well, what it was essentially...
It's like a Ricky Williams kind of thing?
Yeah, where the agreement was, we'll give you these, I think it was 4 or 5 players, 6 players maybe, and the agreement was that if they're all on the team next year, then there's no draft pick need to... Well, Jimmy Johnson's a smart guy and knew that if he cut all those guys, he was going to get the first-round pick for the Vikings for the next 4 years. He did. Yeah, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin... who else? They were all Hall of Famers that they used on those picks.
Yeah. So that was good.
Yeah, real good. So I just had to mention that. That was a real good top 5. Real good. Started off kind of weird, but I think we hit
what
our
your
stride.
definition of good is. But yeah. we can do the best next week.
Yeah, that sounds great. That's a good idea.
More
Stay optimistic,
uplifting.
positive. We got, this team is on the upward trajectory.
Vikings fans are some of the most... I feel like they're more optimistic than most fan bases.
Mm-hmm. I feel... Yeah. I would say they are more optimistic, but I feel...
They could be 3-8, and people would be like, well, they can still make the playoffs.
Yeah. Or... maybe not this year, but they're going to have a great draft pick, and then after that,
Oh, off season every year Super Bowl. I mean, this year it might actually have a chance.
Yeah, feels different this year.
Not according to Sporting News.
Sometimes, yeah. So let's talk about that. So Sporting News predicts that the Vikings are going to...
Before the schedule is released, probably.
Yeah, before the schedule is released. The Vikings are going to, stay the same and be the same amount of good, but they're going to win only 9 games instead of 13.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this, it is, I don't want to say good, but I'm glad they did this for maybe if just to get fans to understand that they're not going to win 13 games next year. And that's okay, they're still going to be really good. They're still going to be a really good team.
They could. They still have that. They have the pieces to do that. Yeah.
But if they don't win 13 games, that doesn't mean that the season is a failure and they're not going to do well in the postseason. And I feel like the way a lot of people look at it, that might be the way it's interpreted. It's like, well, they only won 12 games this year, won 13 games last year. Why did you give all that money to Cousins when you could have just kept Case Keenum and won another game?
Win the division, I think if they don't win the division, that would be a disappointment.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of talent they have on their team to at least win the division.
Yeah.
Even with the opponents that they're playing next year. That's the thing that bothered me the most about this prediction, even more so than the 9 wins, is that it was made before the schedules even come out. Because that has a lot to do with how a team plays. Like, if you have to go on like a 3-game road trip, or you play like division opponents at home, where you play on a Thursday.
I was just going to say, where's your Thursday? Where's your Monday? Where's your
all that matters. Like, I don't understand making the predictions before the schedule comes out. Like,
especially right before the draft, you guys.
The schedule's actually supposed to come out on, like, it's rumored to be coming out this Thursday. So they could just wait like a couple more days.
Do another mock, Sporting News. Do another mock draft, and then get when the schedule happens, like normal people. Yeah, 9-7.
Yeah, and that
tough call when you don't know who they're gonna.
They conveniently also, I think they predicted the Packers to go 10-6.
Of course it did.
And the guy who wrote the Vikings prediction, coincidentally, his profile picture on Twitter is him standing in Lambeau Field. So you can take that for what you want.
But I'm the guy who likes conspiracy theories. Speaking of schedules,
who have the Packers added? Yes, they have Aaron Rodgers, but do they have anyone to cover anyone on defense?
They don't.
Who's their cornerback?
Well, they're going to get Dez, so they're going to score so many points.
So he's going to play defense?
Well, it's not going to matter. Because with Dez, I mean, Jordy was just dead weight. So they cut him loose. They bring Dez in, and sky's the limit for that team. I feel like Aaron Rodgers being out last year gave us a newfound appreciation for how good he really is. But did it not show us a lot of the flaws of the Green Bay Packers and a lot of things that they have to work on?
Asks a lot of them.
He does.
With his circusness back there.
10-6. How long can he keep doing this for? I mean, I know he's really good, and Aaron Rodgers.
It reminds me a lot of the end of Favre's time in Green Bay, where they were just like, "Well, you're good enough, so we'll just not sign anyone and just draft people, and then you can just be the whole offense." That's pretty much what happened. And
then they're going to wind up with 0 more Super Bowls. That was grammatically incorrect, but I think you understand what I meant.
0 more. Yeah. No more. But yeah, 0 more words.
0 more Super Bowls in the Aaron Rodgers era. Wow, man. Real tough talking for me right now. Schedule. Preseason schedule. That was released.
Yeah, first game against the Mr. Keenum.
I'm kind of bummed that it's only the first game, though, because that's a series. Well, maybe not, though, because
maybe a quarter for Keenum.
For Keenum, we'll get a quarter?
Yeah, I don't know what he's only signed to a 2-year deal. I don't know what, maybe he'll probably get, first game, probably a couple quarters. Not a couple quarters, a couple series. They're going to keep him out all game. But yeah. No, it'll be interesting to see because, he practiced against the Vikings all last year, and they practiced against him, so they know what he does. But it's not – either way, it's the preseason. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. Vikings aren't going to show anything. Broncos aren't going to show anything. It's going to be bland.
Yep.
But, football will be back. Everyone will be excited for the first 3 minutes. Then everyone will be like, this is boring football.
Here's the most important part about the first day. We should – Is that in Denver or in Minnesota? Yeah. In Denver. Okay. Never mind.
Oh, you want to do like a live podcast?
He should know. Yes, but no, that's not what I was thinking then. I think Case Keenum deserves, a standing ovation that starts as a Skull chant. and then which is like a slow
he would
clap. Yeah, and then
sure there'll be some Vikings fans in Denver. They're everywhere. So
we do travel well. I'm not one of the people who travels well. I just stay here where it's cold and awful and snows.
And I think they
all
play
year round.
They play the Titans, Seahawks, and the Jaguars. I feel like that's their preseason schedule.
$5 says Janikowski kicks a field goal to beat him in that.
Oh yeah, I saw that the other day. It became official.
The dream's over, man. The dream is over, and it hurts more.
You gotta play that taps.
Yeah.
Song.
Yes. It hurts more that it's the Seahawks too, because there's a history of kickers and betrayal, and maybe not so much betrayal, but kickers and playoffs and whatever.
It's funny. Last preseason was when Blair Walsh was getting all confident and stuff and pointing at the Vikings sideline, and what happened there, buddy?
Woo! Blair
Karma.
Walsh.
Where are you now? Where are you?
Oh, start the episode over. They drafted him, right? That is the worst draft pick of all time for the Vikings. Blair Walsh. Yep. No, I'm gonna stick. I'm gonna stick with my list.
Jeff Locke was a worse pick than him.
No, Jeff Locke was good. He just had a bad situation, bad year. So I'm a big punter guy. I know a lot about punters. I know a lot about how they operate. I mean, I never was one, but I was on a team with punters.
My uncle was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he tried out for the Cardinals.
Shut up! Really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm still the punter.
I think he had to go against he played in preseason for him. I think he had to go against Tom Tupa or something.
No kidding, brutal.
Chance.
Yeah.
But but Buddy Ryan was his coach. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and he forever gets to tell the story about the time he punted for. That's amazing. That's super cool.
Yeah.
I think that to me is I already got my 2-year-old working on his punts, man. That's the best job in the world. NFL punter.
Long snapper.
Doesn't get. Oh yeah, that's not. Yeah, you might be right. I don't know though. Those long snappers, they're not supposed to get hit. They always get hit.
Oh, they do.
They always get hit. At least when you get hit as a punter, you get the flag.
It's only 3 times. 3 times a game though, pretty much.
And the punter usually gets hit. It's like soccer style, where it's you got hit, but
Charlie Whitehurst was the guy we were trying to think of last week. Clipboard Jesus.
Oh yes, yeah. Clipboard Jesus, Charlie.
So maybe backup quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's a good call. I mean, we're still working on it. I mean, we're gonna do a lot of speed stuff. We're gonna work on the agility, and maybe when he's 4 or 5, we'll specialize in a position.
Yes, so Luol Deng. He played 1 game this year, and he made $17 million for the Lakers.
That's insane. Insane. That Cole Aldrich too. He's another one who I think
a lot of NBA players do that because they just give money away.
Yeah. Those NBA contracts are unbelievable. Yeah. Oh yeah, because we've talked about that on here. Because Cole Aldrich makes the same amount as Kyle Rudolph on a yearly basis, and Cole Aldrich never plays, and Kyle Rudolph catches touchdown passes consistently. Real good stuff. Yeah, preseason. I don't know. I'm upset. I'm just upset about Janikowski. I'm just upset that he's signed, and
maybe he'll have second thoughts and retire, and then middle of the year the Vikings will need a kicker, and then he'll just be signed.
I'm willing to put $5 on the Vikings needing a kicker in the middle of the year right now.
Oh, don't do that.
They have no confidence in him.
They've had enough problems with their kicker.
I don't disagree with that. But you think Kai Forbath is going to be the
There's the one thing. Yeah, that's the one thing I don't like about next season. That still the uncertainty.
It's the only thing on the whole team.
Why can't we fix that?
I don't know. Well, they had an opportunity and they let him go sign with Seattle. No, I don't know. You're right, though. It is the only part on this team that I still am just I don't trust that. I guess
Although-
maybe a close second would be the
They signed him to like a veterans minimum, so they could go
Get rid of him.
and draft somebody or sign an undrafted free agent, bring someone in camp, and he could be good. So he's no guarantee.
so you're saying there's still a chance.
Yeah, not for your guy, but yeah.
No, yeah. Forbath just doesn't. I can't. I just don't. I can't. I can't trust him.
You can't miss extra points indoors.
Yeah. And he does and has consistently over the last like
He missed like 5.
yeah, it's
Inside.
It's brutal. It's brutal. And people, yeah, God, it drives me crazy. The Minneapolis Miracle. What do you think would have happened if that play doesn't happen? If Diggs goes out of bounds, he misses that kick because that's what.
Another addition to snake-bitten Vikings.
I'm so thankful that play happened, but there's no way Kai Forbath makes that field goal if they're lining up to kick that. No way. No way. Other NFL news. Mark Sanchez got caught cheating and is suspended.
Not on his girlfriend.
Nope. Performance-enhancing drugs. I think the best headline I read, I think it was Deadspin, that says, Mark Sanchez suspended for 4 largely hypothetical games.
Yeah.
I thought it was so brutal, but so accurate.
He was a first-round pick.
Yeah, first-round pick. Think back to that Jets team where he was the quarterback. They were going to AFC Championship games. I think it's 2 in a row, 3 in a row. Rex Ryan, that dynamic. Like, what a weird team.
Basically, the current version of Blake Bortles. I think that's pretty much what he was, because they tried to make sure he did as little as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had some good moments, but he was not like an on-field general, like his team on his back kind of.
Anytime you have a team that is going to the conference championship game and simultaneously trying to hide their quarterback on the field, which was basically what they were doing, because they had Martin was their running back at that point still, was he not?
Curtis Martin?
Yeah, wasn't he? Who was their running back?
Thomas Jones, I think.
Who was what? Did they
Curtis
just not
Martin,
have?
like 2005.
I know. Did they not have an offense to speak of? Who
They had,
was on? Who was on?
Vernius Coles, Santonio Holmes,
LaDainian
Thomas
Tomlinson.
Jones. That's yep. Who almost signed with the Vikings.
Oh, that would have been cool. That was a name thing, though. Well, no, he had a few productive years in New York, didn't he? Tomlinson?
Yeah, I think he was only there for 2. But funny story about Sanchez. When the Vikings traded for Bradford, I think Sanchez was a free agent. I'm like, I wish they would have just signed Sanchez instead, because they gave up a first-round pick for Bradford.
Oh, man. How do you feel about that now?
I kind of still feel the same way, because would it really gone that much different?
Yeah, probably not, all things considered. They would have probably had a better draft pick.
Yeah. They would have had one last year in the first round.
Mm-hmm. Because what did they... Well, no, because that was the year they started off 5-0 that year, right?
Although, them not doing something like that obviously speaks to how serious Teddy's injury was, which we all know was very.
Very serious. Now we know.
Because they didn't re-sign him. But yeah, at the time I was like, because I don't like Bradford. I never liked Bradford. I think this is pretty clear from anything anyone's ever read of mine or heard from me that I don't think he's good.
Mm-hmm.
Never have and never will. He's like a modern day Scott Mitchell, Jeff Blake, those kind of guys.
Those are brutal comparisons, man. I mean...
Yeah,
I hear where you're coming from.
He's the most accurate quarterback ever.
Yeah, he is an NFL record holder. That is true.
He threw so many good 5-yard passes.
I see. It's NFL record holder, and then automatically have to jump to won a Heisman Trophy, has a statue outside of that stadium. Yeah, and I guess so. Yeah,
how well those quarterbacks done in the NFL?
Went 500 in a ton of NFL seasons, or maybe not even a ton. He was
Peyton Manning? Did Manning ever win a Heisman? No, he didn't. Charles Woodson beat him out.
I mean,
Charles Woodson was pretty good.
Yeah, Charles Woodson was pretty good, and that year was unbelievable too. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, comparing Bradford to Peyton Manning doesn't seem fair to Bradford. No, you're right. I don't know. Do you think that if Bradford's knees were, say, none of those injuries ever happened, and he was healthy all of those years, do you think perception of him, do you think he's like I don't want to say elite quarterback, but if he stays healthy, if you take health out of the equation, do you think he's like a top flight NFL quarterback? No. But dude, he's really accurate.
My main problem with him is he has spurts where he looks really good, where he throws the ball all over the place, but the majority of the time he just checks down, or he throws this short dump off pass. Like that's what he does. Yeah, because he doesn't want to get hit. Like, and he's had spurts where he's looked really good. Mm-hmm. But a bunch of quarterbacks have had spurts of games that looked really good. Yes. That doesn't mean that they're amazing. But for some reason, there's these people that are just like hung up on him being, he's so good. Like, if he was able to stay healthy, he would be like a Hall of Famer. No. You don't think so? No. I've never liked. He was in a Big 12 offense. Yeah. We know about that. How that inflates everyone's.
How well that translates.
I mean, he got stuck with Jeff Fisher, okay, but I mean, he's not. He's decent. He's a good quarterback.
What would be if he never got hurt? He would be better or worse than Joe Flacco?
I'd rather have Andy Dalton. I'd rather have Andy Dalton.
Oh, I swear to God. I did not know it was that serious.
I would.
That is crazy.
Why is it so crazy?
Andy Dalton?
He at least throws the ball down the field like more than twice a game.
And stays healthy, too, I guess. But if health isn't an issue, man,
but it Dalton,
is. That's, can't really take that's telling. No, you can't. And that is the important thing is there are probably a ton of players that if you say, well, Bo Jackson, he never hurts his hip. He's probably well, yeah, but he did hurt his hip and he couldn't play anymore. That's a part of the story. That's part of the reason. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess maybe this is my Minnesota optimism happening again, but I feel like Sam Bradford could have been really, really, really good if he could have stayed healthy. I think statistically speaking, if he just isn't injured, if he doesn't tear his ACL ever, I feel like he is looked at much differently. And obviously, I mean, of course he is because
he's got a good arm, strong arm that everyone loves.
Yeah.
But his pocket presence, like, that's important. And he doesn't have a lot of that. He doesn't really step up.
No, he doesn't.
Pocket. Like Case Keenum was better at that than Bradford was, and that's why Bradford always get killed.
Mm. Yeah, and did he not step up in the pocket because he could barely walk? We'll never know, But he doesn't step up in the pocket.
I don't think he ever did that. I don't think he ever step up in the pocket. Like, and that's something like it becomes like a natural habit for quarterback. Yes. By the time you're in the NFL, you should already have that. Like,
that should not even be something you're thinking about at that point.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to think about stepping up. Like, it's just shuffle. Like Teddy Bridgewater, he could do that.
Yeah. I guess
there we go. It's hot take.
Hot take
season.
Andy Dalton. I think we should just
end it on that. I'll put my name on it. I don't care.
No, go for it. I'm glad you believe in it. I'm more shocked, not because I totally believe you feel that way. I just was not aware. That puts it on a different level for me. That gives
how
me
much I don't like.
yeah.
Not that I don't like him. He's fine. He's a good person.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a nice guy.
I don't think he's a great quarterback like everyone does.
Yeah, and I guess I think Andy Dalton isn't very good, so that kind of recalibrates the argument for me. So yeah, man. I mean, good stuff. A lot of hot takes. Do you want to end there, or do you want to discuss?
I think that's a good spot there.
Yeah,
we've been going for a while.
Yeah, we definitely have. And the only other thing is,
you gotta shovel like your driveway or something, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, God, that sucks, but I do. I have to go shovel.
April showers, spring frozen flowers.
I'm not gonna golf ever. It's going to be August, and there's still going to be snow on the ground. It's horrible.
You know, like indoor mini golf anywhere?
I don't know. Maybe there's someplace like that. Do you have things like that in San Diego? Because it's just too sunny.
Outdoor golf. Yeah, we just have lots of outdoor golf.
You'd think if anybody had it, it would be us. I'm sure there is someplace that I'm just not aware of. I don't know. I just want it to be summer. I just want the snow to go away.
And then you guys are going to complain about how hot it is.
Oh, well, yeah, but not for a while. There's going to be a 4 to 6 week stretch there where everybody's going to be so pumped. That, honest to God, best part about living in this state is that 4 to 6 week period when winter's over and all of the cool stuff.
You wear shorts happens. When it's like 55 degrees out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
That's nice.
I almost wore shorts. It was 40 degrees.
I used to live in that climate. I know what it's about. I would get snow in May. It's happened.
Ugh.
That's why I live out here.
Yeah. I made a decision.
Never going back.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you next week, and hopefully I will feel a lot better about where I live.
About the draft?
Yeah, big.
Probably the schedule will be released. We'll have maybe some trades will be happening before then.
Draft extravaganza. I already have a sounder. It's a year old, but I already have one. It's gonna be really excited for that.
All right.
All right, bud.
Next week.
Skull Bike. See you next week.
Oh.